Yeah, those 13,000 makeup artists are quite the tool, right? Or not the tool, but quite the community to have attached to your brand, right? Because I know that for us, when we look at the influencers in the space, so many of them are either current makeup artists or former makeup artists, and they've really used social media as their platform to become discovered. So how talk to me about that? Like, how do you guys interact with your makeup artist community? How have you invested in that more recently? What are you seeing in terms of their impact on social? Yeah, talk to me about them.
Yeah, so we're the first makeup professional brand. So artistry is at the core of what we do. We were created by makeup artists for makeup artists, whether they're pro or beginners, right? Like you and I, Connor.
Yeah.
So artistry is really at the core of everything we do at MAC, and we really value our 13,000 makeup artists. They're the heart and soul of the brand. They work with us through the every step of the product development process. They have a seat at the table. They have incredible insight.
Hmm.
Of course, we do have data and analytics that we layer on, but our artists are our boots on the ground. They help us understand where the consumer needs gaps are and where they're evolving, the latest backstage trend. We use our artists in over 100 fashion shows, in Fashion Week around the world. So a great example of this is the development of Up for Everything mascara,
Hmm.
which addressed a common complaint of artists we're hearing that the Latin American consumer, the Hispanic consumer overall, have their lashes pointing down. And so they're like, like this is a easy insight that we need to address. So the SKU was launched thanks to them, like the PD team, the product development team worked with the artists to really perfect what formula can be good for that. And this SKU is now the number one in Mexico and Chile. We
Whoa.
also cater to the US Latina consumer. So this is an example. I have many others, for instance, in India, our artists were really instrumental in like going to very deep into understanding the undertone of the Indian consumer so we can have
Hmm.
the right shade range for the Indian consumer in our foundation range. So what we did, they worked, we worked with a senior artist and we tested on consumer in market before we launched globally. So that was like a makeup artist insight there. And they also play a key role when we think about discontinued product, what product needs to stay, what product needs to go. They have their favorite, like from the heart standpoint, but they can also tell you why, from an artistic standpoint, they think that these products are needed, even if, sometimes from a financial standpoint, we cannot say it. So their role is super important. And from every standpoint, innovation, shade diversity, um, just staying ahead of trend, creating trends, looks. So
Totally. Well, and again, and I think going back to that impact they have on social media, it's huge as well, right? Like when we first started tracking the data way back when, maybe 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, Mac was the number one brand we tracked for years and years, right? And I think it wasn't necessarily because Mac was investing in social really heavily, but their artists were, right? The artist community that you had built relationships with.